Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us for today's live presentation. Today's topic will be Automated Office 365 Access Review with SysKit Point. My name is Patrick and I am the sales manager here at SysKit, and here with me is my great colleague Eva, who will be showing you a demo in just a moment. Many of you already know us as a company, but for those that don't, let me introduce you to SysKit. SysKit is a software development company founded more than 10 years ago. We develop products for Office 365 governance and auditing, as well as administration and monitoring solutions for SharePoint on-premise. Currently, we have more than 3,000 customers in over 75 countries worldwide, and some of them are very well-known names, as you can see on our slide. We currently have 6 products, including our famous SPDoc kit for on-premise documentation, and of course, SysKit Point for Office 365 governance and security. Before we start, just a few housekeeping rules. All registrants will receive a recording of the session within a few days. After Eva's presentation and demo of SysKit Point, we will have a Q&A session where you can ask any questions you might have. Please feel free to use the Q&A function on the top right of your screen to ask your questions throughout the session. I will now turn things over to Eva. Eva, are you here?
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for a very nice introduction. Let me just share my screen with you guys. Okay, perfect. Do you see my presentation, Patrick?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, to get us started off with this presentation, I'm just going to give you a quick overview what is actually SysKit Point for those who may not have a chance to try it yet. So when we decided we want to create SysKit Point, our goal was to create a central point for your Office 365 governance and security. Hopefully, we managed to do just that. So with SysKit Point, it's easy to report on access, environment activity, and usage, but also we try to improve user and content management. So we created a centralized interface that will allow you to monitor Microsoft Teams, SharePoint Online, Office 365 groups, OneDrive, and all your users, including the external ones. Apart from that, we wanted to take one step more. We decided to help you to automate most common IT tasks. One of those is definitely automating the access reviews. Apart from that, we wanted to create a really simple user interface to enable not only IT admins, but also the resource owners, external auditors, chief security officers. So the entire organization and whoever is included in the Office 365 governance to be able to use it and get benefit from it. As Patrick mentioned, today's topic is going to be the automation of access reviews. Why we decided to create something like that? Because as we were talking to our customers, we noticed a couple of patterns emerging. So there are some common concerns that most of the companies have when it's Office 365 in question. Of course, one of the most important ones is definitely risk of potential data leakage. Nobody wants to have it. Everybody wants to make sure that something like that doesn't happen. So regularly reviewing who has access to what is definitely an important step to be secure from that kind of event. Another thing, since we are all now remote, but also in the times before the remote work, external collaboration is really, really important, but it's also quite dangerous. So making sure that you regularly review your external users, content that's being externally shared is the second thing. And last but not the least, it's not always about the wrong access. It's also about making sure that the right people have access to something that they need. If they don't have it, it leads to a lack of productivity, of course, a lot of stress, and a lot of troubleshooting for admins and Office 365 admins that need to discover why actually somebody lost their access. So the most important thing when it comes to Office 365 access and data governance is definitely keeping things transparent and prevent all types of security incidents. What we heard from our customers, the usual flow that emerges is that IT admins are regularly tasked to create reports to tell owners who has access to their resources, and of course, change the access that is unwanted. So they would usually create Excel or PDF report, then they would need to send it in the email to the owners. Owners will need to manually review it, respond to admin, and so on and so on. So with SysKit Point, we decided to create a governance process that helps you to empower your resource owners, but also admins, to regularly review access and audit all the changes regarding the permissions in your Office 365 environment. So with this process, you will be reviewing users, both internal and external, all their access, who has access to what, all externally shared content, and of course, you can easily track all the permission changes in case that you need to troubleshoot or in case that you need to detect, hopefully not, to some potential or actual data leakage. In this process, you can include multiple workloads. As I said, SysKit Point supports multiple services, and in this automation, when it comes to access reviews, you can also include Microsoft Teams. You can include Office 365 groups, SharePoint online sites, but also OneDrives. It actually depends what would you like to monitor and which sites are the most important ones in your company. People who are allowed or enabled to participate in this automation using SysKit Point are multiple. So we created a role-based access control in SysKit Point. By default, your Office 365 administrators see all the reports, all the data, they can manage the environment. But when you enable this role-based access control, you can actually allow your resource owners, so team owners or site owners, to actually access SysKit Point reports and participate in this review. You can also grant access to your chief security officers or some external or internal auditors. So you can include everyone in your company who needs to be a part of this process and also governance adoption. We will see in the interface that these are separate options, but for these purposes, for this particular process, we will be requiring you to enable the process, to enable the access to your resource owners. So to conclude, what are actually the biggest benefits of this automation that we provided in SysKit Point? So you are proactively engaging your resource owners. They're regularly reviewing access, and it's all automated. There is no place for a human error. You don't need to do anything manually. You are reminded automatically. Emails are sent out automatically, notifications. A tool gives you the task, and your admins can keep track of the progress and also what's going on in the environment. So you're keeping the control, but you're at the same time enabling and empowering owners to participate in the governance processes. Of course, the biggest benefit, you're sure that only the right people have access to your data. You're speeding up the process, so no more pinging using emails, dedicated channels, or multiple channels to do this kind of thing. And of course, you're enforcing compliance. Since our process is quite standardized, all the owners will be using the same reports, they will be going through the same steps, and we are ensuring that you know that all the things that need to be reviewed will be reviewed. In the end, all the owners, all the admins have complete control what's going on in the environment, and they are also given the written proof that the owners actually did the review, that they're accountable for what they said it's valid and still needed, and they can keep track of it in our detailed report of the access review. So just to go shortly how this process looks like. There are two personas in this case. So the first ones are the admins. They actually need to prepare the environment to be ready for this kind of process. They need to configure, of course, this feature in SysKit Point, and afterwards they can easily keep track of the process and also review the results. For the owners, the process starts with the email notification, so you get a task in your inbox, but also in SysKit Point. You do the review, you follow our guidance, you validate and confirm that access is valid or manage something that's unwanted. And of course, if by any chance some of the owners forgets to do the task, they will get the reminders, and that's it. Once they complete the task, both owners and admins can keep track of history and what has been going on in their environment or on their resources. So now we are going to actually take a look how this configuration part looks in SysKit Point when it comes to the admin side. First step is actually enabling the collaboration in SysKit Point. So by default, SysKit Point can be used by Office 365 admins. They have the complete access to all the reports of SysKit Point, and they're also the ones who are in charge of configuring this access, role-based access for other people in company. We provide multiple roles. So of course, global admins, SysKit Point admins have access to everything. Then we have SysKit Point global viewers. So those are the people in your company or maybe some external auditors that you wish that they see all the reports, but they cannot do any changes, so they cannot do any management tasks. And last are the SysKit Point collaborators, who are actually the ones that we need in this process. So these are all site owners, site admins, and you can even choose if you want to include the full control users in this process as well. So for this purpose, we are going to be enabling SysKit Point collaborators. Next step is actually defining the details of this process. So you need to define how frequently you wish to have this access reviews. Of course, you can choose from 1 month to 1 year, 1 quarter, whatever fits your governance policies. And of course, you get to choose when to actually start this entire process. SysKit Point will tell you when is the next review, and you can also choose how much time are you going to give your owners to actually complete those tasks. So you can change this 15 days, this threshold predefined, how long do they have to complete the task. So in the default case, that's 15 days. So once the owner receives the email, gets the task, he gets 15 days to complete the task and validate the access. Of course, there are automated reminders, but in case that's not enough for you guys, then you also have the option to send the manual reminders as well. The thing that we added in our last release, it's actually the branding options. So we had a lot of questions how to actually customize the email. Now you can do it. So you can add your logo. So you can add your your company's logo. You can change some details in the email, add additional comments, some email address where your owners can contact you if something goes wrong. So you can make that email yours and make your owners feel secure that this is something that your company actually sent, that it's not some sort of spam or phishing email. One of the most important things is, of course, choosing what do you wish to target with this automation process. So which sites would you like to have included in these automated access reviews? You can choose to select all sites, so all types of sites. You can choose all teams, all Office 365 groups, SharePoint sites. You can even include OneDrives, or you can choose something that's externally shared. So if you don't want to keep track of what's going on in your internal sites, but only something that's shared externally, you can do that as well. Of course, you can also pick some specific resources. So if there is a couple of sites that are really important for you, like finance site, legal site, HR, anything that contains some sensitive data, you can select just those sites and only include them in the permission review. So everything is customizable and it fully depends on your wishes. Once we're done with the configuration, the process actually starts. So the first thing that will happen is that 3 days before the date you said that you wish to start with this automated reviews, admins will get an email, and this email points out if there are some concerns regarding your resources. So if SysKit Point detects that you have some sites, teams, or groups that do not have any active owners, you will see it as a task to resolve it. And you will need to change those disabled owners, the owners who are disabled in AD or deleted from AD, and you need to put new active ones because you don't want to have resources that nobody's managing. That's definitely a big security risk. So if everything is okay, You won't be tasked with anything. You will only see how many of your resources are actually included in this process and which ones will be validated in this automation review. During the entire process, while the owners are reviewing access, you can keep track how it's going. So you have this governance dashboard. You see how much of your environment is actually secured, which percent of the sites that you decided to include in this process is actually reviewed. You can send manual reviews for the owners who didn't complete the task. And of course, you can keep track of all historical events, all previous reviews, and every detail that's available there. So how this report site looks like, that's our next step. So you get a list of all the sites. You see who are the owners, and beside it, you will be able to see if they completed the task or not. And also, you can see who actually performed the task. So you can have, of course, multiple owners. Here you can see who said exactly that this is still valid, it's still needed, and who is accountable if something goes wrong. Your owners can leave the comment as well, so you can keep track of everything. It's quite straightforward, and the same principle, the same user interface applies to the site owners site. So let's take a look. How are they participating in this entire process? So first thing, they get the email. It looks like this image on my slide. It comes to their inbox. They see how many resources they need to review. If there are multiple resources, they will get a separate number for each of them. So if there are team owners, group owners, or site owners, everything is visible here. We also tried to put some educational materials. So we wrote down some documentation. They can drill down, they can keep track of the tutorial, how to actually perform the review. And as I said, if you decide to customize this template, so this is the template that you can change, you can add additional info. You can add a contact where they can reach out and get help if needed. They also see the due date, so they are well aware when something needs to be done and finished. Once they click on the Review Now button, we take them to our interface. And this is the detail screen of the task that they will see. So we try to pinpoint some of most important security concerns. They will need to validate all the users on this site, all external users particularly. They get to see all the changes that happened, all the permission changes that happened on their site, like somebody added a member, somebody removed a member, somebody changed the permissions for a particular person, shares something with someone. So everything is visible here, and it's highly contextual, so they only see the audit data for this resource. And of course, they get to see all the sharing links and all externally shared content. Each one of these tiles presents more details, and it guides them to see what needs to be managed. These reports are real-time, so no need to wait for generations. The moment you click on the tile, you get the information, and the moment you do the action, if you change some access, remove it, or edit it, it's performed real-time. So if your owners decide to move somebody, they don't need to wait a couple of days or a couple of hours to see the change. It's presented immediately. So a first tile are the users and keeping track of the memberships. SysKit Point presents them the list of all the users that have access to this resource. So this is not only the high level, these are all the users, meaning if something is shared with them, if they're external users, everything is visible here. Any kind of access is presented. You can see which kind of access do they have, and you can also see how they gained it. Of course, you can add or remove owners and members, but also remove any unwanted access. If you're not sure that this access is actually somewhere here or where exactly has it been granted, selecting a specific user and using the user access report, you get a detailed listing of all the places where this user has access to on this resource. And again, you can choose if you want to remove it or if you want to keep it. Two next tiles like external sharing and sharing links help you detect all sharing links on your resource. So that includes links that give access to anyone without any authentication, specific people. You get to remove them or just remove specific person from that sharing link. So everything is presented in hierarchical view. So you see all the content, you see all the data, and you immediately see who has access to it, and you can manage it. This includes, of course, external users, and you can keep track of their activity and their access across the entire site, team, or group. If you're still not sure that you take a look at everything important, then you can use the permission changes report if you need to troubleshoot something or something went wrong. You can see all the activities on your site, team, or group that happened since the last review. So you have different type of activities. You can filter by them. You can see if somebody deleted a file, if somebody removed some access from a specific file, somebody granted. So it's quite detailed. You can also filter by specific person. So if you have some concerns, you can definitely find more details and act upon it. After you confirm your task, you can keep track of the task history, of course, similar to the admin's overview. You can see if you completed some tasks, you can see which ones you need to complete, and you can also keep track of what other owners are doing. So if there are multiple owners, you will see if somebody completed this task before you, and you can also see the details and comments, what he said, what he do, and what has been changed. And that's it. That's the part of the presentation. So the next step for us is now going to be a live demo to actually see how it looks like in the interface. Okay. I hope that you can see my SysKit Point interface. Patrick, if something is wrong, please let me know, but hopefully you can see SysKit Point home screen. So now I'm logged into SysKit Point as admin. I'm Eva Erceg, I'm admin on this tenant, and I actually want to configure this feature to use it in my company. So you can either do that using the governance style, or you can use settings. For these purposes, I'm going to click on the governance. SysKit Point will tell me that my permission reviews have not been configured and take me to the exact place in settings that I need to change. Before we get started, I'm going to check my email settings because emails are important. If they're not configured, you cannot send those automated tasks. So you get to choose if you want to use the Exchange Online account or some SMTP settings. For these purposes, I'm going to use the Exchange Online, and I use my admin email so that my users know that this is serious and that it needs to be done. Of course, you can change it to any email that you wish. This email will be written down in the email that owners receive to their inbox so that they know who actually requested this kind of review from the company. If you wish to change those templates, you can add your custom logo. For this demo, I put our SysKit logo here. If you don't wish to add logo, that's okay. You can simply remove it, and that's it. So let's go back to the permissions review. Except from configuring the email, first step is to actually enable the collaborators. And SysKit Point tells me that, so I'm going to click here, and it's taking me to the manage access part of the tool, where I decide who can access SysKit Point. So these are global admins. These are the SysKit Point admins who can do anything in SysKit Point. They see all the reports. If I want to see who they are, I simply click on the tile. I get more info. So for permission review, I need to enable SysKit Point collaborators. So I'll do it. Save the changes so I can be sure that this is saved. So of course, if I'm not sure who are actually those SysKit Point collaborators, I can click again on the site owners and see what's going on here. I can see who are those site owners. And if I expand each of them, I can actually see which sites they will get to review. Okay, so we configured the collaborator access. So we'll go back to permission review. Okay, I will enable this feature and then go through this configuration part. So I will put my permission review to happen on Thursday. So that's today, probably not today. Let's start tomorrow. And I wish to repeat every 3 months, so every quarter. I want my owners to review the access and make sure that it's still valid and it's still needed. So with this kind of configuration, starting from Friday, every 3 months, my owners will receive the automated email to their inbox asking them to review the access to their resources. I will give them 15 days to complete the tasks. So this number will tell me how long they will have to actually act upon this notification, and I will leave the reminder. Again, I will save it, not to lose any changes, and continue with the configuration. If I want to customize the email, if I want to make sure that it looks like it's something from my company and not just from SysKit Point, I can change the subject of the email. I can add logo, and I can also choose to remove this image that we put in the template and also add some additional information. So with this custom message, you can add information, who to contact if something goes wrong or if they're not sure what to actually do. To see how it will look like, you simply click on the email preview and that's it. You get to see what you changed. I won't be changing any settings here, but I will make sure to see which sites are targeted. So I want to make sure that all my sites are actively reviewed and regularly. So I will keep this option to review all teams, all groups and sites. And I want to see which sites are going to be included. So if I click on the list of the sites, I get the name of site, team, or group, whatever I choose to review. And I can immediately, if something is not wrong, if something is not okay with my owners, I can also immediately change them here. So for example, if I have any orphan sites, I can immediately change my owners right away here. But everything looks okay. I won't be changing anything. I will be simply finishing with this configuration. So me as an admin, I'm done for now. I will go back and skip to the owners part. So this is now inbox of my site owner. His name is Quark. I received email. It says it's sent by my admin. The title is Office 365 Permission Reviews, and I get to see more details, what's actually requested from me. So I can see that my due date is to finish it until 8th of September. I get to see that I have 11 sites to review, and I have this additional info to get me started if I'm not sure how to actually perform the review. But let's say that I already did some reviews. If I click on the Review Now button, it takes me directly to the SysKit Point interface. So you can see that I'm now logged into SysKit Point as Quark. It's the same interface, but I will not be able to see any resources that are not my own. So admins see everything, but owners see only their sites, only their teams and groups to review. So you can see that I actually did perform a couple of tasks, but today I need to review my QA team. If I'm not sure if I have a lot of tasks to perform, you can also filter by the status, so you can find only the uncompleted tasks to review. So once I click on the QA team, I'm given the task details, so I can see all the important information about these resources, and I can start with my access review and change what needs to be changed. So first thing first, I can see that Benjamin is still here. He's still the owner of my team, but that should not be the case. So I will remove Benjamin. And as you can see, this action is already completed. If I click see the results, that's it. Benjamin is no longer here. He's no longer the owner of my QA team. That's it. The next step is to take a look of all the users. So as I said, these are all the users that have access anywhere. It can be only a file level, it can be a folder level, everything will be visible here. Different color of the user presents a different type of user. So let's call this teal one. These are external users. If you're not sure which color represents what, you simply hover over it and you get more details. So the teal ones are external ones. Orange ones are my regular Office 365 users, and the gray ones present the users whose sign-in has been disabled in Azure Active Directory. So you get to see the username, you can see which kind of permissions they have, and how did they actually gain it. So if I'm not sure why Nell is here, so he has a contribute and design permissions, I can click on the presented reports here. So whenever you select something in SysKit Point, on the right-hand side, you are presented with the actions, but also the reports that are suggested for you. So for this user, for Nell, if I want to see where does he have access on my site, I simply click on the user access, expand it, and I get a detailed report telling me on which file, folder, or subsite this user Nell has access to. So if you see this red dot, it means that these permissions are different from the parent ones, and obviously Nell has been granted to these files. The same thing can be done for any external user. So let's take a look at Adele. I also want to see where this external user has access. That's it. I can check all the types of access and also how he actually gained it. So you can see that, for example, Adele was given directly permissions and access to documentation folder, but the help articles were actually shared using the sharing link. So I'm sure that Nell should not be here. I will remove it. So when I click on the remove access, SysKit Point will remove all the access from Nell across this site, and he will no longer be able to access it or use it. So we'll leave SysKit Point to do it. You can see it's already done. Next step are actually my external users. They are more important for me. I know that my internal users are okay. Let's say that Megan is my vendor. She has been working on a project with us. I want to make sure that I know what Megan is actually doing. So if I click on a Megan, if I select this checkbox next to her, again, on the right-hand side, you get additional information, which is really important because you can immediately see who actually added Adele to this site and when. So you can keep track of what's going on. And if you want to see what Megan is doing on this site, you click on the user activity, and we are presenting you with the audit data that will tell you what Megan is doing. So Megan hasn't been doing much. I will take a look at Eva after all. So if I click on the user activity, it tells me all the activities that this external user is doing across my site. If you want to take a look at the particular activity, you simply filter on a grid so you can see that you have created group, downloaded file. So everything that's happening on this site will be presented here, and you can easily filter by it. So for example, I'm not sure why my external user is downloading any files. So if I select this particular activity, I can also see which file he's downloading, when, and of course, which user is doing it. If I'm done with Megan, so for example, Eva is still obviously working, Megan is not, I want to remove this external user. Again, I have this simple action. I click on the remove, and the same action that has been done to my internal user is going to be done to this external user. So since Megan is no longer needed on this project, we'll remove all access for Megan on my QA team. Again, if you want to just see a complete overview of permission changes that are going on this site, you can explore it. If you're troubleshooting something, if something went wrong, this site permission changes will tell you who shared what with whom. Again, you can filter by specific activity. If somebody downloaded something, somebody broke inheritance or created anonymous links, or if you want to filter by specific user, you can see what my Quark or Eva has been doing in this team. So I'm good with those changes. I'm going to take a look at my shared files. So when I create this report, it will tell me all the sharing links that have been created on QA team. All types of links. You can, again, easily filter by specific type. So for example, I'm quite sure that I don't want to have any anonymous links. So if I see that my analysis file has been anonymously shared so anyone can access it, I really want to remove that. So if I select a particular item that has been shared, I again have immediately management actions where I can remove this sharing link, and simply clicking remove will do that for me. For the links that have been shared with particular person, so you can either choose to remove only that person from a sharing link. So I don't want Jonathan to be able to access this folder using the sharing link, or I can remove the entire link. So it's all up to you. And of course, you can choose multiple links and remove them all at once. And the last tile is the externally shared files. So if I go here, expand it, it will tell me all files that can be accessed by any external user on this site. So again, you can see that you have the entire hierarchy of your data. You have folders, files. We go down to the file folder. And again, if you're not happy that Adele can actually access this, that somebody shared with her, then you can immediately remove this access. Or if you're not happy that, for example, Eva has a full access, you can also immediately downgrade her. You can change her permissions from full control to just contribute. And that's it. If I click OK, my permissions are automatically being updated. And if I refresh it, you can see immediately that my external user, Eva, has now contribute access and no longer full. So it's quite visual. It's hopefully simple to use, and different colors will help you keep track of what's actually going on this report. So we decided to pinpoint these areas as the most important. But if you're still not sure, if you still want to provide more details and explore it furthermore, you can also click on this permission matrix link here, and this will generate a report for you that gives you all permissions across your team, QA team site. So you can see site admins, you can see team owners and members, you can see all SharePoint groups and their members. The green ones are Active Directory groups. So if you have SharePoint groups, you don't need to keep track of who are the members. You immediately see them. So everything is expandable, and you see all the members of AD groups, SharePoint groups, and Office 365 groups. Again, different color of the user represents a particular group. So if you hover over it, you will get more details of what type of user we are talking about or which type of group we are talking about. The same principle applies. If you decide to select a particular group or user, you can immediately edit their permissions, change them, or remove them. Once I'm sure that I reviewed all my permission and access, I can complete the review. So I will say all good, removed Megan. I remove my external user, and this comment will be visible to admins and other owners once they will review how the permission review go. So they will be able to see that I removed Megan and that I'm really aware that she's no longer working. So I will say she is no longer working with us. And type confirm. Oh, sorry. That's it. Once I click confirm, I can keep track of that on my history list, so I can see that QA team has now been removed, and I can see this comment. If I come later by, I will now drill to my QA team. Let me just go here. So if I'm exploring later on after the permission review is done, if I go to my QA team site, I can also keep track of those permission reviews progress here. So you can see that I reviewed it just now, and if I hover over this comment, you can see what I wrote, so the other owners can also keep track of what I did and what was the result of the last permission review. And that's it. That's how the owners are interacting with the application. Now, if I go back to my SysKit Point where I'm the admin, I will again go to the governance style, but now since it's configured, since my owners are reviewing it, I get this dashboard. I get to see the percentage of the environment that has been reviewed, that's secured. I can also see when is the deadline, so I can keep track of the progress. And if I click on see more details, you can see that I see all the sites that are included in the automation access reviews. And you can see who are the owners that need to confirm this access, that need to validate that it's valid, and I can see if they actually did it. So if somebody did it, you will see it's completed by Quark. Let's find our QA side. So he actually did it just now, and he said, all good, I removed Megan. So you can keep track of those at any point of time. If by any chance something happens in your company and you cannot wait for the automated permission review to start, you can always start a manual permission review. For example, you're concerned that there may be some data leakage. If I select my administration site, I can request a review manual for this site and it will start immediately. So if I select a site, request a review, it will start immediately and owners will get the task to actually review before the scheduled permission review should occur. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the demo. Hopefully you did see something more of how this automated permission reviews function in SysKit Point. If you like that one, you can also check how are we doing the lifecycle management. So it's another governance process that we try to automate with SysKit Point. SysKit Point crawls your entire environment. And the moment it detects that there are some unused resources, for example, some teams or groups that haven't been used in a specified time frame, for example, they haven't been used 1 year, it will send an email alert notification to the owner. It will give them more info. When was it last used? Who are the users that actually use this team? What are the files, if they're important or not? And your owners get to decide if they want to keep this team or if they want to archive it or delete it. So this is intended to help you clean up your environment and definitely decrease the administration, because if something is unattended, that's definitely a good way to something unwanted to happen, some security breach. If you liked what you saw, if you have some concerns, questions, if you would like to see the complete demo of SysKit Point, we are really happy to hear it. You have our contacts, so you can either contact our support or sales or even our product. So you can see my email here. So if you are open to participate in our UX testing or giving us just feedback and suggestions on what to build next for you, please contact us. So eva@syskit.com or use our feedback portal to do so. So Patrick, I'm giving it back to you now.
Okay, thank you, Eva, for the great presentation. So now it's time for our Q&A session. So for those who join us a moment later, please also to remind you that you can access the Q&A function on the top right of your screen, and feel free to ask any questions after now what you from this presentation. We have already 2 questions, so Eva, if you're ready, I'm going to shoot them out.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
So first question from Ziad. Hi Ziad, so thank you for your question. Can the task be displayed, added in Microsoft Planner?
So at this point and in this version, no, but it's definitely a great idea, and I will write it down for our product team to take a look at it, because that would be awesome. So if you guys regularly use Planner, it sounds like a good way to go.
Great question, thank you. The next question is, can we transfer user permission to other user?
So I'm really happy that somebody asked this. No, but we are actually already working to implement that functionality in one of our next releases, so that will be possible. The moment you see all the user permissions, you will be able to actually copy them to another person.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, we just got another new question. So please feel free to continue asking now at this period, so we can answer any doubts or questions that came to your mind after seeing this great feature for automated access review. So the next question, it is from Frank. Can it be configured for only a few sites to be reviewed regularly? Not
Yes.
at all.
Yes, definitely. That's something that's already supported. So you simply would go to the configuration part and select the sites that you wish to include. in on this review. So you can select just a couple of sites to be included.
Yeah, you can target that selection.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. New one from Ziad. Where can we find these slides? Can we use them for sales, for example? So yeah, this.
So that's probably something that marketing and our sales will be answering. So hopefully we'll be publishing a video and giving the recording to you later on, so you guys can use it.
Okay. Common question also that we often receive: does SysKit Point support multiple environments, multiple tenants?
Yes. So if you wish to monitor multiple tenants, SysKit Point supports it. You simply add another tenant and easily switch between them when needed.
Okay, excellent.
I can see there is one question that's probably more for you. So price plans and costs. So just high level overview. How does pricing function, Patrick?
Yeah.
I leave that to you.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for providing this question. So yeah, SysKit Point is licensed based on Office 365 licensed users on the tenant. So this would be the baseline. So if you have a tenant with 5,000 users, that would be the SysKit Point package that you could choose for the 5,000 users to cover your tenant. And we have 3 editions. And just to provide some information on the 3 editions. So it's it's based on the admins that use the web application that Eva just walked you through. So the presentation was based on the enterprise. So basically, the entire organization can use the SysKit Point application for this governance of permission review. And but you also have other editions that is the middle one up to 5 admins, and the initial package that is 1 admin using the web application. Now the pricing, I will be happy to support you there. You can always reach out to us, and we can then, based on your requirements, provide a custom offer.
Yeah.
Okay. Any additional questions? Let's see. Yeah, so Ziad asked if those features can only be used with the enterprise license. So yeah, the governance aspect, so as provides the unlimited access even to resource owners to perform these reviews, then it's in the enterprise edition. The plans, there are also a full detailed plan information on our website as well, if you like to go through each of those. All right. Yeah, so we having another one question. Just
Yes, we have one more question.
yeah.
So the question is, when doing access reviews, can you automatically flag if someone is a member of an AD or Office 365 group, for example, student, when student maybe has been added incorrectly? So you can see all the groups, you can see who is part of what. And if you by any chance suspect that some user has inadequate permissions, you can also use our user access report. So I did not show that, but that's part of a regular package. You can see all the access that he has, and then you can manage it as well. So you can see all AD groups. He's a member of Office 365 groups and SharePoint groups. So the entire access for that user will be visible for you guys.
Excellent. Perfect. Excellent. So if any questions comes to mind, you always can reach out to us if after this session. So we would like to, if there is no other questions here, we would like to then once again thank you all for joining us for today's session. And as mentioned, everyone who is registered for this event will receive a recording for the session within a few days. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to us, please, in support@syskit.com or sales@syskit.com, and we will be pleased to hear from you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick, and thank you all guys who attended.